It's round 2 of the Calder Cup playoffs, and joining us to break down the matchup between our Lehigh Valley Phantoms and those Hershey Bears, it is our AHL correspondent and the managing editor of Broad Street Hockey. Everyone say hello to Maddie Campbell. What's going on today, Maddie?
Not too much. What's going on with you?
Oh, just getting a little phantomsed up here. I found my broke out my hat from when I was 9 years old and
Oh my
a season
gosh.
ticket holder. So I'm ready to go. I'm looking for I don't think I can get in the jersey anymore, but we'll see if I can break that out. Maddie, I just wanted to say tomorrow, Wednesday night, April 30th. Phantoms, they're renewing that rivalry with the Bears. This is their 7th all-time meeting between the Phantoms and Bears in the Calder Cup playoffs. That dates back to when the Flyers split from Hershey and introduced the Phantoms in 96-97. Last season, Hershey beat the Phantoms 3-1 in the best of 5. And we all know the Bears went on to win their 2nd consecutive Calder Cup. How do the Phantoms match up this time around with the defending champion Hershey Bears? Can it be different?
I think it can. For starters, I feel actually kind of better heading into this matchup than I did the one between the Penguins. Just regular season, it's been a little bit more even. I think they're 5-4-1 against them in the regular season, so not quite as lopsided as the last matchup. And I think this is going to be an interesting one. Like the Penguins and the Phantoms were kind of in similar situations where both of their NHL teams are out of the playoffs, so they got some reinforcements back at the end of the season. Capitals are still in it, so they're carrying some of Hershey's players on their Black Ace squad. So that's still a very good roster. I don't want to act like it's not, but I think it's a lot more even than I think I would have guessed it would be if you told me they were going to be rematching again in like December.
Yeah, that's last year we saw Washington. They went out and was at 4, maybe 5 in the first round. And this year they're still alive. Looks like they're going to move on to the second round. So maybe those reinforcements not coming for Hershey. But we last time we talked about the reinforcements the Phantoms got, whether it was Emil Andre getting sent back, loaned back to the Phantoms, or guys like Grebenkin, who they picked up at the deadline. And of course, Jett Luchanko, the Flyers' first-round pick about a year ago. Now, he got off to, production-wise, a little bit of a slow start, 3 assists in his 9 regular season AHL games. But here he is, 2 playoff games in, and Danny Briere's first-round pick looks like he might be a playoff guy, just like Mr. Playoffs himself. 2 assists in each of the first 2 playoff games. What's led to this little bit of a productivity jump? A guy who seemed like he was kind of figuring it out, finding his way, and now suddenly here he is leading the team with 4 points in 2 games.
Yeah, I think a little bit has just been kind of a natural progression. He's seemed to get more and more comfortable as he's gotten more games under his belt. So it has felt like it's been building to this a little bit. But I think the situation they've got him in right now is kind of a perfect setup for him. They've got him on that second line, so they're kind of able to manage his matchups a little bit more. He's playing with Anthony Richard, who can actually match his speed, which has been huge. And then they've got Garrett Wilson on the other wing, insulating him a little bit defensively. So it's been a really great setup. And he's still going through it a little bit. We've seen some penalty issues where he's just been caught reaching a little bit, which, he's got to learn how the game is called and what he can get away with at this level. I'm not super worried about that, but he's been great and really hit the ground running here in a big way.
We just have to teach him, Jett. You have to have both feet on the ice out of the box before you try to play the puck. I can't imagine he'll ever make that mistake again. If you're going to make it, might as well be in your playoff debut and a win. Yeah. At least we can all move forward with that. But it did get a pretty good laugh out of that. One of the other reinforcements the Phantoms got, it's a national champion, a guy who already has a title under his belt this year Alex Bump came in out of Western Michigan, and he's been on fire since the jump, and he carried it over into the playoffs. A pair of goals in the first game against Wilkes-Barre. What has his addition meant to this team?
He's been huge. The scoring is obviously great, but he's creating a lot of chances. He's making it a fun rivalry too. I'm sure you saw the comments after game one calling Penguins soft.
They don't like to defend. Soft defenders, I think, in my opinion. So
I need 100% more hating in this matchup, so I am obsessed with that. And you know what? It was great because he backed it up too. I mean, the Penguins definitely responded to that. They were taking some runs at him in game two, and he didn't get flustered at all. He didn't get goaded into any unnecessary nonsense. He drew 2 penalties on him and just said, we'll take the power plays and keep it moving. So I think even more than the production, what I've been impressed with as far as his game goes is the maturity he's already showing. And maybe that shouldn't be a huge surprise given the success he's had at the college level, but also the pro style of system they were running at Western, and the fact that the NCHC tends to be the biggest, heaviest, most physical of the conferences. It was always going to be a little bit of an adjustment for him for sure, but I think that's about as good of a position as you could be in heading into, needing to make that jump. So I expect him to be a big factor in this next round for sure.
Yeah, we showed his comments. We talked about his comments on a show last week, and apparently he did the same thing in the national title game.
Yeah,
like at an intermission interview, kind of calling out BU's defense.
Yeah,
we are very excited about this kid, and I hope he carries that attitude over. I just looked it up before we went live here, Maddie. It was, I believe, game 2 or game 3 of the second round series in '97. Bears Phantoms, 350 penalty minutes in that one. Absolutely ridiculous. I was in the stands as a young child with my father. It's the best game I've ever been to. Doubt very much we get one of those this time around.
Yeah.
But maybe someone with that kind of attitude can stir it back up a little. You always need a little swagger, and it looks like Bump, along with the goal scoring, has that as well.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love a cocky kid? Like,
that's been incredible.
That's great stuff. We know about the forwards, obviously, Ula Lixell. I think he has 8 shots on goal and 3 points already. Anthony Richard, our boy Tony Dick over here at PHLY. We love him. But we know about a lot of the forwards. Who on the back end has been the most impressive? Which D-men have stood out thus far?
Yeah, I mean, I think Andre's been good since he's been down. Helge Grans had that insane game-winning goal on Friday. I could not believe that. But on the whole, maybe because I've seen a lot of him, they've been taking a lot of penalties, so we've seen a lot of the penalty kill. I've been really impressed by Louis Belpedio's game as well. He's been really big for them so far.
That's great. I'm seeing Hunter McDonald was a +4 in that opening series. Has his heavy presence kind of been a factor? In playoff hockey, we know what that's all about. Is he pulling his weight in that regard?
I think so. And in a productive way. I think at times during the season, he's been, maybe pulled into engaging physically in ways that leaves holes on the ice where they probably shouldn't be. But I think he's been physical, but more responsible so far. So I'll absolutely take that.
We've seen that sort of maturity along the way. I know, when Rasmus Ristolainen first got here to Philly, he had a lot of those. And there goes Luke Schenn. He's off the screen chasing a hit. It was a 2-on-1. I don't know where he went, and maybe the hit numbers have gone down, but the ones he does lay far more productive in terms of actually creating a turnover, separating a man from the puck. So maybe that's the direction Hunter McDonald is going to go as well. I want to talk about the net minding, Maddie. Parker Gahagen, he's stopped 59 of 63 shots so far in the playoffs. Hasn't had the craziest workload, at least in the AHL over the last couple of years, but when he's been in for the Phantoms, he's been really good. Do you think he can kind of carry the load for the Phantoms in the playoffs if they're going to go on a run?
I'm hoping so. I think game 1 was definitely better for him. I was talking to somebody upstairs during game 2, and they were wondering like why we haven't seen more of him. And I mentioned like he's not very tidy. He's gonna leave some scary rebounds. Very shortly after that, we saw a couple scary rebounds left out in front. So everything's clicking well right now. Like he's making the saves he needs to make, and he seems to be communicating well with the defenseman in front. They're blocking a lot of shots for him to help him out. So hoping that can continue. But, you know, at the same time, they do have, if things start to go a little bit sideways, Cal Peterson's been good for them this season as well. So it's not like they don't have anybody kicking around to back him up. So I feel on the whole pretty good about their goaltending situation.
That's good to hear. However, no confidence, even in the AHL level in Cal Peterson. Let's hold
That's
it down
valid.
there. Let's hold it down there, Parker. I would like to see him take a little run. He's almost 32 years old. He's getting a chance here, and it looks like he's taking advantage. So
it's incredible.
Hopefully he can hold it down. What other X factors are you looking at in this series? You know, we went into the last one, and you talked a lot of, you know, Zayd Wisdom kind of rebounded and reestablished himself as a prospect this year, and his style of play and everything was kind of helping this team make their run over the last few weeks. What kind of X factors are we looking at here for the Bears series?
Yeah, I think number one is going to be they have to stay out of the box. I mean, they were 8 for 9 on the penalty kill last series, and that's great, but they were very middling throughout the whole of the regular season. So I do not expect that to be able to continue if they keep taking penalties at the rate they have been. So definitely would like to see them clean some things up. But the other thing, I would like to see Nikita Grebenkin get going a little bit more. He has not been playing badly, to be clear. He had an assist in the first game, which was great. But it seems like he had a couple of moments where things didn't seem quite to be clicking for him in the way that he was hoping. Had a couple of shots just go wide on him. It seems like there's been a little bit left on the table for him. And I think if they can get a little bit more out of him, that would go a long way.
All right, we can play just one game of if here. The Phantoms will win this series if what, Maddie?
Oh, gosh. If the scoring doesn't fall off a cliff, basically.
Well, we've seen them put up some pretty good numbers thus far. We're seeing a lot of the new guys really integrate well and affect the offense. So I'm hoping that's what we get. I hope we get a longer series. You know, it's only a best of 5, but hoping to see the Phantoms push this to 4 or 5. Maybe they can steal a game in overtime or something, and we get a little bit more of a playoff run, because I know we need it here, not having playoff hockey in Philly. It would be cool just to have it somewhere in the organization. And
for sure.
We can talk again. I'm looking forward to discussing this team again with you sometime in the near future, Maddie. Where can the people find your work?
I'm going to still have coverage over on PHLY on the website side. Lots of coverage over on Broad Street Hockey as well. Just can't stop talking about the Phantoms. That's all I've got going on right now.
We need something. We need something, and you are our boots on the ground. So thank you very much, Maddie, and hopefully we talk again in a few days.
Yeah, fingers crossed.